Another really interesting example is in the Ottoman Empire. For almost 300 years, they chose not to use the Gutenberg printing press of movable print. One of the myths is they did it because they were worried about knowledge coming in to the Ottoman Empire, which is actually not true. The main reason why they did not use the printing press is there were tens of thousands of scribes that would have lost their jobs because of this. And I think this is an aspect that we really don't think about when we think about AI. Rabbi Rosen and I were part of the C100 at the World Economic Forum, and Klaus Schwab came in to us one day, all of the quote-unquote religious leaders, and said, we're moving along whether you keep up with us or not, but we're waiting for your ethical ideas, but we're just going to move along with or without you. So this idea somehow that, oh, we can work with these ethical considerations, technology is moving on. One of the things that is really important to remember is, and in this great institution of the Catholic Church, they took very seriously the 5 intellectual virtues. Well, the least of them is technique. The least of them is technique. Technology is the least, the craft. Over that is phronesis, which is prudence. How do we use our technology prudently? And you have nous and episteme and wisdom, the highest. Another really important thing to think about is the wise ancient Greeks had the engineer, Hephaestus, was actually crippled. And his enemy was Athena, the goddess of wisdom. The reason that Hephaestus, I think, was crippled is because technologies tend to cripple us. We're all using the crutches of technology now. And each time we adopt a new technology, we lose something of our autonomy. It becomes a crutch. And most of us can't even imagine life now without a cell phone. And yet the vast majority of us in this room are old enough to remember how life was without a cell phone. Our young people won't remember that. They have no idea of what a world without cell phones was like. But I think most of us do remember it, and perhaps fondly. Again, the idea that you can't stop progress. I think it's a very dangerous idea if that progress is harmful. And this gets back to what Shaykh Abdullah bin Baya pointed out of the idea of harm, the prohibition of harm, and reciprocating harm. So one of the really tragic aspects of modern technology, I think, is the alienating nature of the technology, the distraction of the technology, the fact that we're constantly checking our cell phones, we're constantly being distracted. Well, it's very interesting that Bethlehem, which was the first mental hospital in England, was actually called Bethlehem for the incurably distracted. We forget that distraction in English actually means mentally deranged. Right? And so Franz Kafka, who I consider actually a formidable theologian, said that evil is whatever distracts. And the great Catholic tradition has acedia as one of the 7 deadly sins, which could be interpreted, sometimes it's translated as sloth, meaning like a spiritual laziness. But it was actually understood by the great church desert fathers as distractibility, this idea of constantly being distracted. And I think this is what a lot of people are suffering from. So we now have a massive mental illness crisis. There are many, many factors to it, but I think one of the real factors is the types of technology that our young people are being exposed to and are growing up with. We have a fentanyl crisis in the United States that's taking about 55,000 lives a year. Marx reminded us when he said that religion was the sigh of the oppressed creatures, the heart of a heartless world, and the soul of soulless conditions. It is the opium of the people. In other words, Marx was actually trying to understand why people needed religion. Well, part of the reason was to numb them of the pain of the world, because it's a difficult place to be. If we don't have religion, then opium becomes the opium of the people. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned us of the latter days, the antichristic period. One of the things that he told us about the Antichrist, that he would make the sky pour forth rain, he would make the blind see, cure the leopard, he would have mountains of wheat to satiate the poor who would follow him in hopes of gaining that benefit. He said that he would travel in every city in 40 days. They asked him how he would do that. He said, like a wind that leaves behind a cloud. And so I think it's very interesting that we have to really think seriously about where this technology is going. Because I travel a lot. I go to universities. I walk through colleges. I see everybody bent over these machines. Something really has changed in a very short period of time. And change should always be considered with great deliberation. So where we're going, I don't know. But I think we have to think seriously about the dangers of AI, what people are going to do, and then also cui bono. Who benefits from artificial intelligence? Who benefits from it? When we eliminate all these jobs, when people get universal incomes, what are they going to do? How are they going to live? What is the purpose of life? What type of meaning in life will they have? I think these are all serious questions that we have to greatly consider. Our prophet, in conclusion, has one of the verses that was revealed in the Quran. It's a great question. It's a question that was well known in this city, Quo Vadis. Where then are you going? The Quran says, فَأَيْنَ تَذْهَبُونَ? Where then are you going? And I think this is something we have to ask ourselves, because God allows U-turns on the road of life. And I think the possibilities of metanoia should be very seriously considered. Thank you.